It's 5:05 on April 24th. I'd like to call the meeting of the Public Works Committee to order. First order of business, have folks had an opportunity to review the minutes of last month's meeting? Does anyone have any corrections or observations? If not, I would accept a motion to accept them. Motion by Ms. Lockhart, second by Mr. O'Brien. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The item is carried. All right. On to item, item 1 is still on hold until the, do we have to table it again, or?
Yeah, we need a motion to table it.
Okay, we need a motion to table it. Mr. O'Brien, so moved. Mr. Smith, seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Carried. All right. Item number 2, current business. Authorizing an agreement with Carver Construction Incorporated regarding the CR 352 Fox Creek Road over the Squirmer Creek Bridge replacement project in the town of Rensselaerville.
Yes, sir. Good evening. We are requesting just what you stated. We received 4 bids for the project. We reviewed the bids along with our consultant, CS Engineering, and we both agree that we would like to award the contract to Carver Construction in the amount not to exceed $697,450. Carver is kind of new to this type of work. They've done paving in the past, but they've recently hired a gentleman who worked for Reifenberg for 15 to 20 years. He's done plenty of work with the county. I had conversations with him prior to us making our recommendation. He assured me that Carver is trying to get into the bridge business and the culvert business, and I have all the confidence in the world he's going to do a great job for us, and we've got a really good price.
Good. Any discussion? Any concerns? If not, I would accept the motion. Moved by Ms. Plotsky, second. Second by Ms. Lockhart. All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Item number 3, authorizing an agreement with Carver Construction regarding the Weaver Road over the Black Creek Superstructure Replacement Project in the town of Guilderland.
Again, we're requesting approval to enter into an agreement with Carver Construction. We had 5 bids for this project. We reviewed the bids along with our consultant, Bell Engineering. We do recommend the award to Carver in the amount not to exceed $410,450. This is not a full bridge replacement. This is a superstructure replacement. It's a work on the abutments. So we're bringing in wood, we're bringing in precast wood, prefab wood panels. We're going to set them on top of new abutment caps, and we're going to pave over the entire structure.
And that's not a full...
No, the abutments are going to stay in place down to the water. We're just going to chop the tops and put new seats in.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Mr. Angelo? Becky?
Is Carver a union shop?
I don't know if they're union, but they do have a certified apprenticeship training program as required.
Do they pay a prevailing wage?
As part of the, yes, they do. As part of the kind of contract, they have to pay prevailing rate.
Under the general municipal law, everybody does,
That's
right?
Yes, sir.
That's correct. Okay, any further discussion? Concerns? If not, I would accept the motion. Moved by Mr. Smith. Second. Second by Mr. O'Brien. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Authorizing an agreement with Peter Luisi and Brothers regarding construction services for the rail trail Phase 1 improvement project.
Yes, we're asking approval to enter into an agreement with Peter Luisi to finish this will be the last piece of paving of our rail trail from the New Scotland Bridge all the way up to the Village of Voorheesville parking lot. We had 5 bids for this project. Peter Luisi was the low bidder in the amount of $880,000. $7,929.40. They did the first phase, we call the Phase 3 project a couple years ago. They did a very good job, and we're happy that they're the low bidder. This is also funded by NYSERDA, 75%, picking up 25%, and a cash or service match.
All right. Can you tell us what Phase 1 is?
Pardon?
This is for Phase 1
Yeah,
of the
Phase
project.
1, it's just, we segmented, it's weird. We did Phase 3 first, and that was the piece from Veterans Park down to South Pearl Street. Second phase we paved last year with ourselves and working with the town of Bethlehem. That was from Veterans Park up to just before the Slingerland's Firehouse. The firehouse in that area is actually a separate project we have under design by Creighton Manning for the parking lot and the Duke's property and the bridge and all that. That's kind of separate from this. And we're gonna pick up on the other side of the bridge in New Scotland, pave all the way down to the Village of Voorheesville parking lot.
Okay. Questions? Or no?
Oh, no question.
Or accept the motion?
Sure.
Ms. Potsky moved the motion. Second? Mr. O'Brien, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Authorizing an agreement with Gorman Brothers Incorporated regarding cold in-place recycling projects for county roads located in the town of Bern and Rensselaerville.
We're asking for permission to enter, or for authorization to enter into an agreement with Gorman Brothers. The total amount is not to exceed $815,000. The amount that is actually in our budget is $850,000, and the other $35,000 is going to be spent on full depth reclamation. There's a portion of County Route 10 that requires a little more than cold recycling. It's called Garden Hill. It's about a mile long. It's in very poor shape. We're gonna grind this, and that part of the contract is going to go through the cab because it's only for $35,000, but it's under the same. It's under the same contract, state contract. Correct.
So this is, all the Gorman, all the prices here are a component of state contract pricing.
Correct, sir.
Questions? Discussion? If not, I would accept the motion. Mr. Smith? Seconded by Ms. Lockhart. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous. All right, number 6. Authorizing an agreement with Cobblestill Stone Products for hauling and placing of asphalt concrete on various roads.
Again, we're requesting legislative approval to enter into that agreement. This contract is with Cobblestill Stone. They're the low bidder in the amount of $2,521,749.71. There were 3 bids for this project. This is funded by the CHIPS program, or the New York State Consolidated Local Street and Highway Improvements Program. This is our annual paving we do every year. This is what keeps our roads in the shape that we have them in. And we worked with Cobblestill 2 years ago. They did a fine job.
Has the pricing changed from year to year, or is it?
It's going up, but not very much. We've been really lucky with our asphalt prices in place. They've been really good.
Well, I was surprised to see you even got 3 bids.
Yeah. Well, Newcastle is new to the game, and they're trying to break in where Callahan and Cobblestill are the guys that are the big hitters.
Okay. Any questions on this annual contract? If not, I would accept the motion. So moved by Ms. Lockhart, seconded by Mr. Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous. Thank you. Number 7, authorizing an agreement with the New York State Department of Transportation regarding shared services.
They request legislative approval into this agreement. This agreement started back with Buffalo, the snowstorm in Buffalo. The whole idea of this agreement would be to save some time coming up with contracts for state of emergencies and things like that. There always has been a verbal agreement, but no formal agreement. The chances of us using this agreement would be pretty slim unless it was for a state of emergency or again, snow plowing, something like that for the state.
Okay, any question?
Will you be using New York State trucks for this in conjunction with us?
This contract would actually be if we require something from the state. I don't foresee issues in anything equipment-wise from the state.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. O'Brien, seconded by Mr. Miller. Everyone in support, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, the ayes have it. All right,
Thank you very
much,
much.
Mr.
Appreciate
Angelo and Mr. Duckett. Mr. Murphy, welcome.
Sir?
All right, let's start with number 8, authorizing the agreement with Stilson Electric regarding the feeder line replacement project at Albany County Water Purification District South Plant.
Yes, sir. The district is requesting legislative approval to enter into a contract with Stilson Electric in the amount of $126,000. This includes a $3,000 allowance and an alternate for $83,500 for conduit replacement if it is found that the existing conduit has to be replaced. The feeder cable shorted out in 2017 and provides electrical redundancy to our solids handling operation, which is critical to maintain our permit compliance. Stilson was the lowest of 2 responsive bidders.
Okay, any questions from the committee?
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Moved by Paul Miller, seconded by Patty Lockhart. Everyone in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Unanimously approved. All right. Authorizing an agreement with BCI Construction Incorporated regarding general construction services for the sludge pumps replacement project at the Albany County Water Purification District.
Yes, sir. The district is requesting authorization to enter into a contract with BCI Construction for the replacement of 6 return sludge pumps and 6 waste-activated sludge pumps between the 2 treatment plants, 3 of each at both plants. These pumps are critical to the district's infrastructure, and the existing pumps have been in service for over 45 years. BCI was the sole responsive bidder for this project at $2,748,000. This includes a $100,000 allowance.
I had an opportunity to talk to Tim before the meeting, and I asked him to whether or not he was comfortable with a sole bidder, and he explained to me that this was significantly under the engineer's estimate. So they felt it was a pretty good bid. And I asked him to, I'll touch on how we advertise for bids and what the climate is where we might have a sole bidder.
Yes, and I reached out to purchasing to find out where it's published, and it's typical that they're in the Times Union and the Evangelist are the 2 local papers. All bids and RFPs are advertised in both. They also use Empire State Purchasing Group site to post all of our bids and RFPs. And there's 25 pages of people that were notified through the Empire State Purchasing Group website. And there was an extensive Excel spreadsheet showing a number of companies that actually downloaded our document. It appears that there's a great deal of municipal work out there right now, and we've reached out to some of the larger local contractors that are typically bidding on these projects, only to find that they have a great deal of work right now. This is a fairly straightforward project with the pump replacements. There is a bypass pumping portion of this, so it does require a great deal of setup and breakdown of pumping and logistical operations with our personnel in order to take tanks down and hand them over to the contractor. BCI has done a large project for the district in our disinfection project, and we were very satisfied with their performance.
Mr. O'Brien?
The purchasing director, she's comfortable with this?
Yes, I attached her recommendation as well, moving forward.
And the county attorney's fine with it as well?
I would have to ask county attorney if they're satisfied with it.
I'm just uncomfortable with just one bidder, that's all.
Well, I think...
Is this something that needs to be done right away, or is this, can this wait a month?
This was, at the request of our board, it was postponed 1 year already. If we were to postpone it any more, the district would have to spend probably roughly between $10,000 to $20,000 in replacement parts in order to keep the pumps operational for a longer period of time.
Can you at least get the opinion from your county attorney that he's fine with it?
Will do.
Okay.
Mr. Miller?
One question, these pumps aren't anything that's going to become obsolete when we go to the anaerobic digester, right?
Oh, absolutely not. These are necessary for the process, no matter what type of solids handling you do.
Well, I suggest that we move this forward, and if there is any concern by the county attorney, that they would contact the council and the chair and express that concern, and it could be considered.
I'll make that
Is that acceptable?
Yeah.
Make a motion to that.
I agree.
Made by Ms. Lockhart, seconded by Mr. Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried unanimously. Okay. Authorizing an agreement with Stilsing Electric regarding electrical services for the sludge pumps replacement project at the Albany County Water Purification District.
Yes, sir, this is the same project. This is the electric portion of it. The district is requesting to enter into a contract with Stilsing Electric for the return sludge waste activated pump project. Stilsing was the lowest of two responsive bidders for this project for $433,895. This includes a $30,000 allowance.
Discussion, concerns? If not, I would accept the motion. Moved by Mr. O'Brien, seconded by Mr. Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimously adopted. Thank you very much. Tim, we had a couple of members that had expressed interest in coming out to see the purification plant when it wasn't 20 below wind chill factor.
Exactly.
And Tim has been gracious enough to give us a couple of days, May 8th and May 11th. We have some people that really need to do things first thing in the morning, like at 8 a.m. Is it possible that we could do something briefly on both days?
Yeah.
Okay, so we could accommodate people at 8 a.m. and we could accommodate people at 10 a.m. So what I'll do is
Which sewer plant?
a water purification.
Which one?
Well, we would go to the,
Either one
well,
you'd like to see.
where you got the most,
Let's go
well,
where the
every,
anaerobic digester's gonna be.
yeah, that's
North plant.
Yeah,
north
North
plant. Okay, well, what I will ask,
Can I just make a suggestion? 'Cause
Sure.
there was one with the
What is
8.
your gas mask?
I can try, if I'm the only one, okay, to save Mr. Murphy time too. If I'm the only one, I'll try and see if I can change that, the appointment that I already have.
well, let's do this.
So
I'm
see
gonna-
if
I'm
everybody
gonna-
else can
I'm
be
going-
there at
I'm gonna
8.
ask Nicole to
Okay.
send out a note to everybody in the legislature and say, we have these two dates, one at 8 and
Okay.
one at 10, And if it turns out that
There's other people?
there's other
Okay.
people that need differences in time,
Okay.
we'll accommodate them on both days. If we have one person, then
Yeah.
we'll figure out what to do. We'll play it
Okay.
by ear.
Okay.
Does that sound
Yes,
good?
that's good.
Okay, so Paul, you're gonna get back to me?
Yes, I will.
on the time.
Yes, I will. I'll ask Nicole to send out a memo tomorrow to all the members and any of the staff associated with the legislature. Thank you very much for your hospitality when we come.
Scott? Thanks.
All right, we actually have two things left on the agenda. We have number 11, which is Luke from the County Executive's Office is here, authorizing the submission of a grant application to the New York State Department of Homeland Security regarding the installation of bollards to improve security at the Times Union Center. Luke?
Good evening, Chairman, committee members. As you mentioned, we are requesting permission to submit a grant application to State Homeland Security for these security enhancements in front of the Times Union Center. As you mentioned, they would be bollards that would basically be able to cordon off one block of the street in front of the Times Union Center. Regrettably, there has been an increased prevalence of the use of vehicles for attacks, for lack of a better word, and so the security element is very important. I think with the improvements to the Times Union Center atrium, it's possible there already is significant foot traffic out there, and that there may be an opportunity for more, an increase as that area is utilized more. So this is simply permission to apply for the grant.
Do we have an idea what they look like?
There are options. I think, size-wise, they're about 6 inches in diameter and about 3 to 4 feet tall. Aesthetics, there are options. So, we would want them to be, security is obviously important, but we don't want them to be an eyesore either.
Are we contemplating something that's sunk into the street level and anchored? Or are we talking about portable?
It is, any way you go, there is an anchor. There are two options, removable and retractable. Unfortunately, because of the amount of the infrastructure underneath South Pearl Street, retractable, they're 4 feet and they need to go down all of that 4 feet as well as drainage underneath. So it just, with existing National Grid infrastructure, is likely not feasible. So we would be looking at a removable which attaches, still has a security rating, and basically locks in place when there's a suitable event that it would make sense, whether the block party or the whatever entertainment is happening out there, if it's just a large concert where a lot of people are going to be filtering in and out.
But wouldn't the police be there? Wouldn't be a police presence there?
There is, they certainly, and we have coordinated with the police, City of Albany Police, as well as traffic. Their role wouldn't change. This is additional physical security. So they're there, but I believe currently they use essentially like a movable, sort of like a sawhorse type thing, and this is a much more secure option.
I mean, in other venues, they've used garbage trucks. I mean, they've used all sorts of
Like in New York?
portable large barriers.
Right, currently that's wooden plastic sawhorses, basically.
Not gonna stop a terrorist attack.
And is $50,000 enough to do this, or is that the maximum amount of the grant, or?
Both. It is the maximum amount, but it would cover the cost of all of the infrastructure. And based on communications with the various providers of this, the installation is something that we could likely handle in-house, so you wouldn't have a cost there either. That's the current plan.
Do you have a security assessment?
There was
of
a
the-
security assessment that was conducted and was submitted with the grant. It was actually a requirement to apply for this grant. I don't have it on me. A colleague of mine actually submitted the grant, Michael Alley, in our office, so I could get that and share it.
Any discussion? Doug.
Isn't this more for crowd control? Because you do have big crowds in front of the center all the time when there's an event.
Would the bollards be for crowd control, or?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
No, I don't think so. I think you've likely seen these around at some point. Sometimes they're retractable if you happen to be at a very secure FBI building, or down in DC, they'll have the retractable ones or the removable ones. They are for physical security to deter and stop an attempt to.
Well,
But what
2
about-
nights ago in
Yeah,
Toronto,
that's
there
right.
was an event that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
That's what's being
And-
used, vehicles much more prevalent in
Yeah.
attacks.
And,
But you have block parties down there. How are you going to control that?
These are there's spacing between them. They go in every.
Oh, you walk between them.
Yeah, I don't foresee that being an issue. They're spaced roughly every 4 feet. You know, you want it to be less than the width of a car, naturally, but there's plenty of space to navigate.
Can I suggest that if you get the grant, when you come back to the committee to accept the grant, that you give us a diagram of what you anticipate?
A rendering. I would like a rendering of what it would look like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it'd be contingent upon the grant, what they can afford. I would say.
Exactly.
And
I
it-
just want to
Reinhardt.
add, I want to add that, until a few nights ago, I wouldn't have expected this to happen in Toronto. But it did. So it would be, we could say here, yeah, well, it won't happen here, but we don't really know that.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen an increase. It's tragic, and this grant is intended to enhance preparedness, and ultimately that's what this project would do.
It makes it less of an easy target.
Yeah, deterrence is part of it.
Yeah, it's a big part of it.
It seems like an economical way to stop the vehicular traffic. And the
Yeah.
pedestrians can just flow right around.
Exactly.
And the police force.
As long as they can flow.
All right, any further discussion? If not, I would accept the motion. Motion moved by Mr. Smith, seconded by Ms. Lockhart. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? None, unanimous, the ayes have it. We have one more resolution, it was sort of a late starter. It was originally at the last meeting referred to both this committee and Audit and Finance, and it kind of evaded the agendas, but we caught it and got it on, and it is Mr. Bullock's resolution number 183, requesting the county executive to consider the feasibility of solar panels during the reconstruction of the Albany County Nursing Home. Doug?
Yeah, what I'm proposing here is solar panels for not just a solar carport. I have a picture of what a solar carport looks like. GE just did one. It's, the panels go above the parking lot, and they're wind tested, and they're strength tested, and they're weather tested, and they provide the shelter for the cars that park under the parking lot. So that's part of the proposal here is a solar parking facility with, of course, with a charging station to come off of it also. And on the other part of it is on the single-story part of the nursing home. The single-story protrusions on the nursing home, there's 4 of them, and they'd be an excellent place for thermal solar panels and a thermal solar panel system to heat the hot water, which is one of the main expenses of the nursing home, by the way, is heating that hot water. And, so doing a thermal solar on the roofs of the single-story buildings at the nursing home would produce a big savings for Albany County. Currently, the current electrical bill, and I've looked at the National Grid electric bills, And, they average over $8,000 a month. Now, that's just for electricity. That doesn't include gas, okay? That's not the gas part of the bill. So, it's going to be a huge savings if we do it. If you do it this way, it's close to a solar farm in producing electricity. And we passed a resolution a long time ago to the county exec to take a look at it. And now that there's reconstruction, we want to do it again, and especially with that parking lot, which is a real eyesore and has been for years, and needs some building that is cost savings. This is cost savings. It gets us off of fossil fuels in the county nursing home, and I think it'll really help the bottom line.
Discussion.
I will add that whether we do thermal on the flat roof part of the nursing home or more PV, I think both should be looked at. The economics of each, vary a little bit. When you're backing off thermal energy for heating water, the revenue, if you will, that you're avoiding, or the cost you're avoiding is not as high as it is when you're generating electricity and selling it under current regulations. So, I think we should look at both. There are various ways to build the solar panels in parking areas. This is a good picture, but there are others. I just want to say, from my perspective, being involved with the solar world now for several years, if we look seriously at it, we will find ways to make it work. We just have to look serious. We have to be serious about saying we're going to become a greener county government, and we're going to actually think about it in the beginning of these designs and beginning of the processes instead of as an afterthought. I feel as though too often it's kind of either been an afterthought or not a thought at all. And if we actually think about it up front from day one of a project, these things can work. And Walmart's doing it on their roofs, Target's doing it on their roofs, all the big box stores are starting to look at this and doing it because it makes economic sense. And if you look at it from day one, that's when it makes economic sense, not when you already have a design and you say, can you now backfit panels onto this existing design? That always is not as attractive as when you actually think about it from day one.
Well, I'd also note, I personally believe that we should explore, the possibility of solar energy. The only question I have, and I'm sure it'll be discussed more fully at Audit and Finance, would be, is there a potential capital cost for this that then the county executive would have to consider amending the cost of the nursing home? And I don't know what the answer to that is, because I think for most of these projects, they take some front-end loaded capital. But then again, you can even, we have this new law, which Bill, you're in the process of updating now, where you can separately finance environmental upgrades, and maybe it can be done on an off-book basis that doesn't affect the county's bonding.
Other local governments are using PACE for that very purpose.
Well, that may be, Travis.
This request is simply for a feasibility study, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Not to do the project, it's more to look at the feasibility of it.
And get it right.
No, I'm not questioning, I'm just saying, you're just requesting to do a feasibility
Yes.
study. And paying for it, the study, how? Just curious.
Well,
Are you,
I'm just requesting that the executive
just,
office.
and let him, okay, let them handle it, okay.
Yep.
So you're looking for a staff analysis by county staff?
Right.
Okay, it's not like we're gonna bring in
It's an actual feasibility study. So it's more than just finance.
Okay, no,
Okay?
just want to clarify what you're requesting.
Okay.
Who would be doing it?
I will say, though, that what could happen is when this gets over to the executive office, just like with other things, including the previous item that was mentioned a few minutes ago, they may say, hey, you know what, there is grant money to do this kind of thing. and they'll come back to us and they'll say, we'd like to use grant money to do it. That's quite possible.
It's gonna be money for sure.
All right.
I just had one question for Doug. The parking lot, are you talking about that main parking lot where the visitors, everybody parks? Right out front, right?
Yes.
So turning that into a carport covered, right?
Right.
And then solar,
carport.
which would also cut down on some plowing, I would assume, if it's,
Oh,
right?
for sure.
Through the winter?
Oh, for sure, it'll
Yeah.
save, thank you, that'll save plowing,
Yeah.
for sure, it's gonna save costs. That's what I'm looking.
I just wanted to make sure, I thought that was the only parking lot we were talking about, but I haven't walked behind, so maybe there's something
The
back
ugly
there.
one.
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion or concerns? So, Brendan, we need a motion to move it forward, and then recognizing that it will also be on the Audit and Finance Committee agenda on Wednesday. Make a motion.
I'll second it.
Second, Patty Lockhart, Paul Miller.
I'll fourth it.
Fourth it, Mr. Reinhardt, fourth again. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimously carried. Okay. Is that it? Motion to adjourn. Mr. Smith? Second?
No, he's
Mr. O'Brien? All in
making a
favor?
motion. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you very much.